welcome back to the Complete Guide to Reading Rhythms. We're starting our last section, section 14 today. We've got a new symbol, and it's the same concept as we had in the last section, section 13, except this time we're applying that dot to an eighth rest. So all that means is now we have a rest that is worth 3/16 notes instead of a note that is worth 3/16 notes. So line 1, if you look at it, you've got the first measure has 2 beats full of 16th notes, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, right? No problem. Then we go into beat 1 and beat 2 of measure 2, and you have that dotted eighth. So what that means is those 4/16ths we had, the 1 E and are now rests, and we're just going to play on the right? So you have 1 E and right? And that happens twice. 1 E and 2 E and Easy, right? And then as we go through, don't get too frustrated about how much ink is in there. Remember that the reason that these are not beamed or connected anymore is because each group is supposed to show you one beat, right? Each grouping of 4 notes is supposed to show you one beat. So that's why, like in line 2, you don't have a 8th rest, a 16th note, and then a dotted 8th rest. So that 16th note is supposed to help cue you in actually to that 16th rest being part of beat 1 and not part of beat 2. That's why you don't see a dotted 8th rest in situations like that. Or the next line. Line 4 was really just to make you look, and then from there you have dotted 8th rests the rest of the places that they're possible. So let's get started. 40 beats per minute. Remember, as always, we're going to tap our foot and count out loud while we play, keeping great posture, having a smile on our face as we go through this, the last section of the Complete Guide to Reading Rhythms, Duple Rhythms play-along course. Here we go, 40 beats per minute. 1, 2, 1 E and a, go E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 2 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 1 E and a, line 2 E and a, 2 E and a, and 2 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, and a, 2 E and line 3 E and a, 2 E and a, E, E, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, E, E, 4 E and a, 2 E and a, 1, 2, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 1, 2, line 5, 1 E and a, 2 E, 1 E and a, 1 E and a, 1 E and a, line 6, 1 E and a, 2, and 1 E and a, and 1 E and a, and 1 E and a, and line 7 and a, E, 1 E and a, E, 1 E and a, E, 1 E and a, E, line 8 E and a, 2, 1 E and a, 2, 1 E and a, 2, look ahead, E and a, 2, line 9, 1, 2 E and a, 1, 2 E and a, 1, look ahead, 2 E and a, 1, here comes 2 E and a, 1, E, 2 E and a, E, 2 E and a, 1, E, and 2 E and a, 1, E, look ahead, 2 E and 11, and 2 E and a, and 2 E and a, and 2 E and a, and look ahead, line 12, 2 E and a, 2 E and a, 2 E and a, 1, 2 E and a, right? Very nice. We're halfway done with our first 5-minute practice session of section 14. How'd that feel? Anything catch you by surprise? If it did, make a note of it. Maybe take a second, pause the video, and look at that rhythm and get it figured out. Or go back to the beginning, watch it through again. And when you come to the place where you're confused, back it up and watch that one line until you get comfortable with how that rhythm should sound based on how it appears. Now, I'm going to bump up to 45 and keep going. Here we go. 1, 2, 1. Line 1, 2, ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a and 1 E and a 2 E and a and line 3 E and a 2 E and a E 1 E and a 2 E and a E line 4 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 line 5 1 E and a 2 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 6 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and line 7 and a 2 E 1 E and a 2 E 1 E and a 2 E 1 E and a 2 E line 8 E and a 2 1 E and a 2 1 E and a 2 1 E and a 2 line 9 1 2 E and a 1 2 E and a 1 look ahead E and a 1 here comes line 10 1 E 2 E and a E 2 E and a E 2 E and a E 2 line 11 go 1 and 2 E and a and 2 E and a and 2 E and a and 2 E and line 12 2 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a. We've got 15 seconds to go, so I'm just going to give you that 15 seconds. We're going to start line 1 at our next tempo, 50 beats per minute, and our next practice session. You made it through the very first practice session of our last section of the book, so great job. You should feel comfortable with that. If it's feeling a little rocky, repeat this practice session. Repeat this one so you get it really sunk in, so you feel really smooth with where to put those individual 16th notes, those really syncopated 16th notes. This is the fun part to me. This is where it's really, really fun. This is where it gets really funky and really groovy as you keep moving through this. And it really, really instills that 16th note pulse in you so you can play the rhythms accurately. And actually, after you get through section 14, maybe you don't play much music with this level of syncopation. But the stuff that you had earlier with the 8th notes and the upbeat 8th notes, the maybe slower tempos are going to be so much more solid after practicing this section 14 and getting really good at it. So you're well on your way with this. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow when we keep practicing section 14. Have a great one.